Good evening. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for a new life with me, Lily, again, so to say. So it's me, myself, and I today without a guest. The last weeks, I had always a guest with me, which was really great. But today, I will have a really hot topic, I would say. And because today I want to talk about cold calling and if cold calls work in B2B or work for B2B. This week, I have posted about it already and had a really controversial discussion. That's why it inspired me to use it as a topic and to dive a little bit deeper into it and give you some tips. And also, I'm really happy to discuss. So if you have questions, comments, whatever, put it in the comments so that we have an interactive discussion. But of course, I will share the tips and also looking forward for your experience with it. So if you agree or disagree, or if you have another experience with one or the other tip, so that would be awesome to have this interactive session here with you guys. So drop in the comments in which industry you are working, if you are an employee or if you are an entrepreneur. And also, if you have already a question towards cold calling, do you do cold calling, and so on and so on. So I'm really excited about it, and really looking forward to talk about it. But who am I? For those who don't know me, I'm Lily. I'm the CEO of Malish Consulting. And I help decision makers to develop their B2B business. So that's why B2B is today our topic in the food and beverage industry with the help of LinkedIn. Business development and leadership strategies are the game changers and require a real concrete approach. And many B2B businesses shy away to get a consultant on board. I know. So because a consultant or a consultancy is always like a buzzword, everybody saying, no, not me, I'm not doing that. So that's why I'm providing really fair, implementable, and customized solution or solutions for your challenge or challenges. It depends. And in my 10 plus years as an employee in the corporate world in the food and beverage industry, I love to approach and to talk about topics which drive you as a decision maker within this industry or as a business owner within this industry. So that's why I'm really excited to talk today about cold calling. And before we dive deep into it, again here, so guys who are watching right now, drop in your comments, questions, and also tell me, are you an employee, are you a business owner, and from which industry are you tuning in? But let me share with you a beautiful presentation. It's a really short one, so don't worry about it. It will not take long, but it's easier to see and to have an idea how it looks like. So let's have a look on cold calling. Let's have a look on the background of it. So cold calling. So first of all, let's see what is cold calling. Yeah. So what is cold calling? How does it look like? And what is behind cold calling? So and also the question to ask is, does it work for the B2B industry? So let's have a look. Let's have a deep dive when I manage this presentation here, but I'm sure I will. So let's see. Yeah, so cold calling. I have 7 tips here together with me on how to master cold calls in B2B. But first of all, what is a cold call? Yeah, so this is also a great question, and I have here a definition, so I'm a fan of definitions. So what is a cold call? Cold calling is a technique in which a salesperson contacts individuals who have not previously expressed interest in the offered product or services. So you can replace salesperson also with business owner, but normally cold calls is the duty of a salesperson. Cold calling typically refers to solicitation by phone or telemarketing, but can also involve in-person visits, such as with door-to-door salespersons. But this door-to-door is not really working nowadays. And so talking to salespeople who has started out like that, they always feel like, oh, this was the times when we went door-to-door and were kind of really cold, not calling, but cold acquiring. And also nowadays, a lot of social media is used for cold calling. But today we will talk about the real picking up the phone and call the people, not just dropping messages via WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever is available, or not getting in touch over LinkedIn as well. So my first tip, so how to handle a cold call. The first thing is people trust the phone. So if you look at the statistics, 92% of our interactions are on the phone. This is fact. And people love the phone. Of course, I know we nowadays have our smartphones, but nevertheless, we love to communicate with our voice. Yeah? So also the voice messages, it's a kind of a little bit the same. Yeah, but 92% of all interactions are on the phone. My tip number 2, you must believe that you can make a sale on every call. So this is a question of mindset. So when you decide to pick up the phone, when you decide to call someone, you have to be convinced that you can make a sale on every call. Or not a sale, but that you can convince the person on the other line. And of course, if you don't believe in yourself, or if you are not convinced about yourself, who will then? Yeah. So you're transferring it with your voice, you're transferring it with your gestures, you're transferring it with the words you are using. So this is really important. And when you start a call, or when you go into a call, be logical and be structured. And here the question is, do you have a script? So do you have a script for a call? Even if it's not a cold call, do you also have a script for a follow-up call? Do you have a script for I don't know, calling a customer who is already a buying customer? So a script is a real game changer. And especially when you do cold calls, you have to be logical and structured, and a script helps you. How often do you use third-party data in your call, and especially in a cold call? So my tip is know the stats and use them. So you have to know your industry. You have to know in advance what the potential customer you are calling would have as a question, and cover this up with third-party data. Stats are beautiful. So people love stats, and if you can quote them, if you can reference to them, and if you can send this information, this third-party information, also to them, this gives you a great reputation and a great credibility as well. What is really important, especially on a cold call, is qualify quickly. This means don't spend too much time building rapport. Yeah, so you have to know the questions to ask, so that you know immediately if the person you are talking to is a decision maker, if the person you are talking to can make a decision, if the person you are talking to is interested, or if you are just wasting your time. So you have really to have your check questions in place to make sure that you can qualify quickly. Number 6, be honest, be transparent and straightforward. That means that you need to really know what you want with this call. What is your target? What do you want to tell this person you are calling? And be really honest. So don't say, well, I just saw your profile on LinkedIn and just want to connect. Just be honest and say, hey, I know that I have a product, or I know that I have a service that can help you or that can solve this and that problem for you. So be honest, be transparent, straightforward, and it will save you some time. And also talking about stats, the conversion rate on cold calls, they are typically between 2 and 4%. So a cold call is really to make this qualification and to make this prospect kind of warm, yeah, and then to continue with your different other steps in here. So 2 to 4%. If you manage to convert immediately, so cold call order, it's just 2 to 4%. But a cold call is also not so if you do a cold call, it's not the main target that you will have immediately in order. So it's really to get your pipeline full, and it's also kind of figuring out what's going on in the market, what's going on in the customer base, what's going on maybe also with the competition, because this is also a great opportunity to check if your prospect says, well, we are buying already at so then okay, and if this name pops up more often, then you should do some homework and check your competitor. And last but not least, and this is really something we are really, really, really bad at here in the German-speaking countries, asking for referrals. I mean, you are on the phone, you are talking to this person, you are figuring out that your product or service is maybe not a good fit for this company or this prospect. But why not asking about a referral? So, hey, do you know somebody, or do you know another company? Do you know another decision maker where my product or my service would be a good solution or would be a good help? And the interesting thing is that 91% of all people would give a referral if you would ask them. This is really incredible. So Mike and me, we have often this experience. If we ask our customers for a referral, they're totally enthusiastic to do so. Also on video, written, whatever you want, because they're not used to that somebody's asking them. And you cannot expect from people that they go and say, oh, well, Lily is such a nice person, let me give her a referral, or let me introduce her to somebody else. You have to ask, you have to take action, you have to ask because you want something, and make use of the opportunity, make use of the chance to be already on the phone with this person. So this person might have an incredible network, or maybe really knowing somebody from playing golf that that the company or the decision maker needs your products or service you're just offering. So it doesn't mean that if they say no, that you are not a good fit to that. And last but not least, do not underestimate the power of a cold call. Never, ever underestimate the power of a cold call. And if you want to learn more, then I invite you to send me an email with #coldcall, and I will send you a script for such a cold call. And my email is lily@malish.de. So make sure to send me an email with #coldcall, and I will be happy to share with you. So here's my email address, lily@malish.de, and #coldcalling, and I will share with you a script for your next cold call. And we have here a question from the audience. In your opinion, in what industries cold calling works best? I would say Cold calling works in every industry. It doesn't matter which industry it is. So, of course, some industries might have a kind of bad image, like, for example, insurance. So companies selling insurance or companies selling really hard contracts. So they are maybe not that successful, but they can still be if they do it the right way. But in general, I would say cold calling is or works in every industry if you have the right setup, if you have the right script, and if you know your audience, if you know your customer base, if you know your industry. So this is the most important thing here. And then a cold call can work. Doesn't matter if you sell glasses or if you sell, I don't know, dancing courses, if you sell whatever. Yeah. So just try it out, but make sure that you have your script in place, that you have your informations in place, that you have your third data in place. So you have to think about what kind of questions or what kind of doubts the other person would have, and you should answer them in your pitch in before, so that this question marks or doubts are not appearing at the other end. And then it's like a great opportunity to agree on a next meeting, on a presentation, on a test product or whatever. So this is always a good opportunity here. So hashtag cold calling, send me an email, lily@alish.de, and I will be happy to share you with your a script. Then we have again a question: what is the best time to cold call? So what is the best time to cold call? This you have to figure out, but it's said that the best time is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So the day is, it doesn't matter. So Monday till Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So some statistics are showing that this is the time where most people are willing to listen to you, and also that it's that you have the best opportunities. Because of course, if you think about yourself, so early morning, you're checking your emails, and then when it's getting to 10 a.m., most of the people have already their coffee, they are more kind of settled, they know what the day is looking like. And so this is it's a great time for that. And from my own experience, so this week is my cold calling week, and I must admit that I have really good results in this time frame, but more 10 till 12, because after lunch most people are kind of a little bit tired or have other appointments. So 10 till 12, I would say. So in Germany for the time being is the best time here. And yes, so Juan is saying the buyer persona, absolutely. And so the buyer's persona, you have to know your buyer's persona, you have to know your customer, you have to know what questions can my buyer persona have. So doubts, questions, and be willing or be clever, better say, to answer them in before. Yeah, so if you answer them in before, then the other person has no reason not to agree on a meeting, not to agree on a presentation, not to agree on a free trial. Yeah. So these are my tips, and I want really to encourage you to try out cold calling. It's really exciting, and so my experience is also that most people are first of all surprised, because they say, why is she calling? Why do they call me? And it's really amazing how people open up. So this is my experience so far. People open up because I also often receive the feedback, well, I don't remember the last time a person called me to really talk about a product or service, or really to offer me something. I'm spammed with newsletters, I'm spammed with emails, I'm spammed with chatbots on social media. So what was like a curse in the past, like everybody was like, oh, cold calling is such a bad thing, now turns out to be a good thing, because nobody's doing that. So don't miss the opportunity. Be the first. in your industry. Try it out. So I would really love to hear about your experience. So maybe you can drop it in the comments later, or send me an email, hashtag cold calling, and my email is lily@malish.de. So would love to share with you some scripts here. So guys, if you have any other questions, here we have John has a question. How does a persona deal with fear of cold calling? Yes, this is a good question, Don, because of course, why we are not willing to do a cold calling is because we are afraid. We are afraid of rejection. We are afraid of that the people on the other end of the line are really bad with us. So how to handle it? As I said in my tips, be convinced, or you have to have the mindset that you can close on every call. Yeah, this gives you the self confidence to go in the call. Be honest, yeah. So don't try to trick around. And so if you know and if you are convinced that your product or service is a perfect fit for this company or this person you want to call, and you believe in your product, your service, you believe in your company, you believe in yourself, then there should be no fear. I mean, if the person rejects or say no, then go ahead. And the most important thing is to have a full pipeline. So not to put all hope on this one call, yeah, but to have a full pipeline. And then it doesn't matter if you have 50 people to call and 5 of them say no, and 45 say, well, maybe, and or yes, then it gives you a push for your self-confidence, and then it really doesn't matter. So get your full pipeline, be convinced of yourself, your product, your service, your company, and be honest. Yeah? So, and qualify the people quite fast and not waste a lot of time in building your rapport, or try to, to place yourself somewhere. It does not make any sense. So guys, again, hashtag cold calling and my email lily@malish.de. I'm happy to share with you the script. And if you don't have any further questions, so if you have a question, drop it here so that we can go into it. Otherwise, we will see each other again on next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central European time. So I don't know if I will have a guest, so stay tuned, or if it will be just me, myself, and I on another hot topic. Let's figure it out. And so looking forward to see you soon. And hashtag cold calling, email lily@malish.de. Don't miss the opportunity to work on your scripts here as well. Yes, Don, thank you for tuning in, and Vasiliki as well, thank you. And I'm happy that I could give some new ideas maybe, or some tips, and I'm really curious to hear about your experience, to hear about your cold calling tips and tricks, so you can share it in the comments anytime. So looking forward to it, and so see you soon. And don't forget, a call can make a difference.